Naughty Bear has been officially introduced into the fog, and here are some things that you may not have known about this awesome stuffed teddy bear. Who exactly is Naughty Bear? Well, in short, he is a sociopathic teddy bear out for some revenge on some stuffed animals with some evil intentions. He strikes terror in the hearts of all the bears, large and small. Naughty Bear originates from a 2010 video game that was available on PlayStation, Xbox, and iOS that was made by BHVR Interactive themselves. This was one of their first ever games. But this wasn't when BHVR was actually BHVR Interactive. This is when they were known as Artificial Mind and Movement. In this game set in the 1980s on Perfection Island, Naughty Bear isn't invited to a birthday party. This is in part because he's pretty mischievous and people don't really like him. Overall though, Naughty Bear had made a wonderful gift for his friends and he didn't necessarily get an invite. He decided to crash the party anyways, and when he showed up with his gift, everybody laughed at him. So he stormed back home, and with a little push from an unseen friend, he starts going on a rampage, killing everybody.
If I were you, I would throw that present in the fire and go and do something about all this nonsense.
The unseen voice is the narrator. This is a big part of the game as the narrator pushes Naughty Bear into directions that don't really seem so normal. This voice can also be heard in Dead by Daylight. Whenever you're selecting your character, you can hear this really excited voice of the unseen narrator that is essentially the host of a television show guiding Naughty Bear in directions. You'll also hear this voice in-game, which is really cool, adding a little bit of extra flavor to the character itself. As for who the narrator is and the intentions, that still remains a mystery.
Today will be full of fun and games.
Hey, here's another random fact. We are currently live on Twitch. Hope to see you guys here. Happy Halloween, I might add. We're actually cosplaying right now on Twitch, doing a very long stream, so hopefully we'll see you guys there. Twitch.tv/theking. Before selecting your character, you might notice that Naughty Bear is kind of tinkering and then he hides behind a leaf. This is a direct reference to the game where he hides behind a leaf and then jumps out, scares the bears, and potentially kills them. This is a really little cool Easter egg that references exactly what he does, and I'm really happy they decided to include this. A lot of these animations look like they were almost ripped out from the old school game, so the animators did a fantastic job in replicating Naughty Bear into DBD. Another thing you might notice is the interesting soundtrack that is selected when you are playing as Naughty Bear. This is actually a direct reference from the game itself, but this was their second game, Panic in Paradise. This one is called The Slasher, and it goes like this. And let's just hear a comparison of that to Dead by Daylight's version. You definitely can hear the similarities, they pretty much exactly sound the same. When picking out the legendary skin, I'm sure that the Trapper was a no-brainer for many reasons. First of all, the Trapper is likely to hunt animals like a bear, which makes this really iconic because Naughty Bear is in fact a bear. The other thing is that the basics of what Naughty Bear starts out with in his original game is a machete and a bear trap. That sounds very similar to a character that we know in Dead by Daylight and we've come to love, so this again was just quite a no-brainer for them to bring Naughty Bear as a legendary skin for the Trapper, in case you guys were ever wondering. One of the coolest part about the skins is the Mori, and this is a direct reference in the game. Throughout the game itself, Naughty Bear is going around killing everybody, and you have these executions that you can perform on other bears. One of these executions is the machete kill. Now, they spiced it up a little bit themselves. I couldn't exactly find the exact Mori, but it seems that it incorporates every aspect of the terror that Naughty Bear brings with the machete and with the bear trap itself, which again is some good callbacks to the machete kills that he performs in his own game and some of the bear trap kills that he might do to survivors. Now, I'm not exactly sure if these were officially licensed, and I highly doubt it, and it's more under the parody law, but it is possible to see Naughty Bear in action with some Ghostface mask, him as Jason, Alien, Sadako, and even Jaws. It's pretty crazy. There's a lot of different references that they have done throughout their entire game, and you can actually play these characters in the Naughty Bear game itself. This is really cool to see how full circle things have come for Behavior, where they started out with Naughty Bear and just making parodies of these, and you can definitely now see how much these chapters really mean that they're now in the fog, such as Alien, Sadako, Ghostface, and maybe potentially Jason, and some way somehow Jaws in the future. But it really does go to show how much of a full circle moment this has to be for the developers. Naughty Bear is a character of very few words. He likes to display his emotions in just a tiny bit of noises and subtleties, and one of the major things that he says quite a lot is boo. He jumps out and scares you. Again, this is another reference to the game where Naughty Bear goes around and instead of actually killing the other bears, he scares them and puts them in a panic, which netted you more points throughout that game. The way the game worked was you competed against your friends to see who could get the most points, and instead of just straight up killing everybody, going ahead, scaring the bears, and then driving them insane to eventually either make them die on their own terms or you killing them is what ended up happening. So this is a direct reference to that, and that's why he runs around saying boo. Something kind of funny that I've seen that might have been some inspiration for Dead by Daylight itself is that in some of the old school trailers, you can actually see the bears locking themselves in lockers and even barricading themselves behind just to hide from Naughty Bear, which is very, very similar to the lockers that we've seen and the barricade / pallets that we have in Dead by Daylight. Again, you can definitely see all of the inspiration that came from Naughty Bear that eventually went into something that is Dead by Daylight. It's just really cool to see the roots essentially of this. Probably a little bit of a coincidence, but Naughty Bear originally came out in June of 2010 with a bear trap icon as its loading screen essentially for what's to come. What makes this really ironic is that Dead by Daylight was released on June of 2016, and of course that bear trap goes hand in hand with the iconic trapper. Just a nice little scene to see. And finally, the last Easter egg I will leave for you guys is a little trailer that they had for Naughty Bear, and I want you to take a look at this and see if it reminds you of anything. Well, there we go. Naughty Bear is officially in the game. This is absolutely amazing. Again, I feel like this is a huge full-on circle mode for the devs, a full circle moment essentially, and I'm really happy that Naughty Bear is here because I know how much it means to them. The skin itself is really, really cool with all of the little features such as the narrator and the custom Mori really adding that extra spiciness to it, and it is super cool and fun. I mean, I'm a Trapper main, so I'm eating it up. I'm sure some of you guys might actually start playing a lot more Trapper because of this. I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure you leave a like down below and subscribe for some more awesome Dead by Daylight content. We are live on Twitch right now, so hopefully we'll see you guys there. And as always, I'm the King. I tip my crown to you guys, and we'll see you in the fog.